What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of Strong Shot Archery Reviews, where we get the most unbiased, objective reviews, so my personal preference doesn't affect your money. Today we're going to be comparing two more bows from two of the top brands in the compound archery industry, the Mathews Triax and the Hoyt Nitrux. I'd like to take a minute and give a quick thank you to everyone who supported or gave feedback on my past videos. A special thank you if you subscribed or commented. One of the comments asked to see the Triax compared to a Hoyt with a closer price point, since the prices were so different on the Carbon RX1. Right after that, the new Hoyt Nitrux came out, and here we are. Before we get started, I just want to give a quick thank you to Bear Creek Archery for sponsoring these videos and also providing these bows. They're a family-owned range in the Denver area, and they have a massive variety of products to choose from. They have all the archery brands you could dream of, and not only do they have the products, they have the magnificent service. So if you're in the Denver area, Bear Creek Archery is the place to be. Make sure to stop by or check them out at bearcreekarchery.com. Since I've already touched on these bows in other videos, I don't want to just repeat the stuff I've already covered. So I'm going to quickly go over the similarities and then move on and focus on the major differences. Okay, so like I said, these price points are a lot closer than on the previous review. The MSRP of the Triax is $1,099, while the MSRP for the Nitrux is $950. That being said, I've seen the Nitrux advertised for around $850, so while these bows are targeted for the same market, there could be some money to be saved with the Hoyt. But remember, that's only if it's the right bow for you. Buying the wrong bow is never the cheaper choice. Both of these offerings are split limb compound bows from high-end manufacturers. These bows weigh about the same, unlike the last comparison. They also share a roller guard feature which can help you have a smoother draw. And once you get bows all the way back, you have a cable stop for a comfortable wall. The draw length options are very similar, but as I've said in other videos, since the Triax is smaller, it does come with a shallower string angle. So if your draw length is above 29 inches or so, I'd make sure to try that out. For dampening, both bows come stock with multiple dampening features. The Hoyt provides both riser and limb dampening, while the Mathews focuses on the riser and string dampening. Looking at a comparison of the vibrations from the 70-pound bows, you can see there's a significant difference with the Mathews. Remember that dampening is really a personal preference, since there are so many aftermarket solutions that you can put on your bow to get the feel that you want. So just because one bow will be louder than the other does not mean that's the final answer. Both Hoyt and Mathews publish speed ratings for these bows. While the Nitrux comes in at 333 feet per second, the Triax is rated at 343 feet per second. The problem with these numbers is they're using different scales. Hoyt is using the ATA methodology while Mathews is using IBO. I'm not going to get into the difference between these measurements, but my main point is they're not directly comparable. I have to be honest about this. I think that some people focus way too much on speed when making purchasing decisions. Certainly it can help when you're at imprecise distances, especially when shooting uphill or downhill. So I get that, and certainly if you can minimize arrow drop and get your arrow to the target faster, that can mean all the difference in the world. But my point is, it doesn't help anybody if your arrow goes super fast to the target, but to the wrong spot. Before you can release a shot, your bow has to settle and you have to have a nice, steady, confident aim. The speed of the bow will never help you with that. So when you're evaluating a bow, first you have to focus on how the bow will help you settle down and help you aim before the release, so that you can take full advantage of the speed after the release. I don't want to drone on about this, but if you'd like to hear more on my thoughts about what I think is important when finding the right bow, let me know in the comments and I'll put something together. Okay, so enough about speed. Let's get into things that will actually differentiate these bows. One basic thing is draw weight. The Nitrux gives a lot more choices for people with lower draw weight. When we compare the size, you can see that the Triax is shorter in axle to axle and overall length. Depending on how you intend to use the bow, like in a blind or a tree stand, this may or may not be a benefit for you. One of the results of this geometry difference is the difference in the balance point. You can see that the Triax balances a little higher than the Nitrux. This difference will mostly impact how you set up your bow for maximum stability. The benefit from the Mathews is that it has the presence of a low rear stabilizer mount. Both bows have the standard front mount, but the addition of having a rear mount gives you way more options when tuning your bow to fit your style. I always think that having more tuning options is better. When comparing two bows of this quality, you're never really going to find a measurable difference in accuracy or reliability. That's why you need to look into finding the bow that will be most stable for you. When I say stable, think of how the bow aims, how much movement you see in the pin or dot when you're aiming. There are a lot more things that go into the stability of a bow than many people realize. When I'm tuning my bow to maximize stability, I'll make really small adjustments in my draw length, I'll move my D-loop into different positions, and even change the length of my D-loop. I'll also play with slight changes in draw weight and let off, and all of this happens before I start messing with stabilizers and weights. All of these things work together and you have to find the right combination that works for you. One easy thing you could try to play with is D-loop length. There are so many videos on YouTube that can tell you how to tie a D-loop. What I'd recommend is you get a whole bunch of D-loop material, cut it into different lengths, and then go to your local archery range and try them out. You'd be really surprised to see the difference you can get from just getting a slight difference in D-loop length. Another difference between these bows is the grip. Now they can both be replaced with aftermarket grips, but here we'll just talk about the stock configurations. The most impactful difference is the difference in the grip angle. The Hoyt is at a more common 17 degrees, while the Mathews is at a steeper 10 degrees. This is 100% personal preference, so it's one of those things you have to try them both out and see which one works best with your hand and wrist. Beyond that, the grip on the Hoyt is more contoured and ergonomic. For some people, this can help relax them in the shot, but for others, additional width of the Hoyt can lead to bow torque. Again, you have to try them out to see which one works best for you since everyone is different. The last thing that we'll compare is cam designs. And again, these are two high quality bows, so I'm not concerned about design or build quality. I'm going to focus on their draw force curves that come from the cams so we can see what pressures come at different points in the draw cycle. You can see that they both start similar as you draw the bow, but the Hoyt falls into the valley sooner. This can give you more control as you come into the wall and lessen any vibration that has to settle out before you can aim. One thing to notice here is the let-off. The Nitrux only comes with 85% let-offs. There are no options. The Mathews, on the other hand, let you choose between 75 and 85% let-off modules. Again, I personally want to have as many options as possible. The Mathews I used for this test had 75% mods. You can see that it would likely land at about the same place as the Hoyt if it had 85% modules. So to wrap this up, we have two high quality bows from great manufacturers at a similar price point. Right out of the gate, the Nitrux is the only option if you need a draw weight below 40 pounds. And remember, if your draw length is 29 inches plus, test out the Triax to see how comfortable you are with the string angle. But if both of these bows fit you, there are a few things you need to consider when you go to the range to test them out. The Triax has more tunability options. It has optional 75 and 85% let-off modules, and also has a rear-mounted stabilizer mount for adjusting the balance. Also, make sure you're comfortable with the steep grip since it's not an ordinary grip angle. The Hoyt has a grip angle that is more common for most archers, and the cams on the Hoyt drop into the valley earlier for a more controllable draw. And finally, there's the price. These bows are very similar in price, but you can save a little more money by buying the Nitrux. But keep in mind that if the Nitrux is the wrong bow for you, in the end, it will be more expensive. Remember that choosing a bow is about finding what matches both your needs and your style of shooting. You never want to have to change your shooting to match a bow. So go ahead and try them both out and see which one fits you. The main thing that I hope you guys get out of these videos is a better understanding of how you can use these features on these bows to work best for you. Because I think that if you shoot better, you have more fun, and the more fun you have, the more you do it. In these next few months, there are going to be bow releases on top of bow releases from all the major brands in archery, and that means more videos. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can get notified whenever I post. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.